and gentlemen, and welcome to USC Postgame Live here on the Voice of College Football. We are here tonight to talk to you guys about the excitement of USC's big win over the University of Nevada, Reno. It was a demolishing one. The defense looked better. A lot of problems were addressed, and it was quite a game. But most importantly, to tell us what it was like there, you are looking live at LBC Trojan, our good friend Rick Anaya, who is live right now outside the LA Coliseum as the crowd streams out. LBC, how was the game tonight? Tell us what you thought.
Tony, good evening, and good evening to everybody in the chat. Thank you for tuning in to the Voice of College Football USC channel. Out here, it was a crazy day in LA. I've never seen it. As we drove to the Coliseum around 12:30, there was a silhouette in fog and kind of mist. Seeing the LA skyline, it looked like the skyline was in duplicate or clouds. I've never seen it before in my lifetime here, and you can see right now behind here, I think we got friend of the show, Jay Miley here, but it's kind of overcast and cloudy. It was weird. I've been here for 95-degree days on Labor Day, but it was very comfortable and a great game by USC. Yes, there were some mistakes there in coverage, but I think the final score, Tony, was 66-14, if I do recall. And Deuce was loose at the very end. We had a lot of freshmen playing. And so that was –
Miller Moss was great.
Hey, friend of the show, Jay Miley, dude, you're sweet. Oh, I'm sorry, I got my fat finger right here. But we got some cookies. These are – what are they? Fresh baked, hot, tasty cookies.
They're very good.
And guess what, guys? This is the last game on the Pac-12 network for USC. And what do we have here to celebrate? We got a fight on parallel. And we're going to do a foul right now, okay? No more with the Pac-12.
There it is. One last drink for the Pac-12 network that USC never has to be on again. Hooray! The end of the Pac-12 network.
That's it, baby. It's over. The Pac-12 is over. We own it. We killed it. And we took what we wanted, and we brought UCLA, and they still owe us a 10% finder's fee, those cheapskates. That's what they do. But hey, 66-14, and it was never close all day. I mean, Caleb had 4 touchdowns at the half. No, I know he had – hold on. Doctor's got it over here. LBC's got it. And they came in for one series. He got a 5th TD. So they want to make sure he had 5. Jackson 5 TDs. But, yeah, it was fantastic. Tony, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we accomplished everything that I wanted us to accomplish. I thought we saw a lot of improvement on the defense, which was super important. The corners need to work at those covering the long balls. That was really bad. And then we got a lot of guys playing. We got the young guys playing. Miller Moss looked fantastic in the second half. I mean, we know Caleb is Superman, right? But Superman can hurt his knee. Superman can go out. And what we see with Miller Moss is no matter what happens with Caleb, we are going to be good to go. Ricky just vanished on us.
Yes, hold on.
All right. Well, Rick does that. We'll mute you until – oh, there you are. You're back. Rick is outside the – now, for those of you guys who don't know, the Coliseum, that is the peristyle of the Coliseum, which is the end with all the tributes to famous LA athletes and the memorial to World War I soldiers. And there Rick is at the new very Instagrammable Caleb Williams.
Place to be. There's Caleb. We got a bunch of fans taking pictures right here outside the Coliseum. But, yeah, he's going to fight on right there. He's hanging with us. And he had 5 TDs tonight. So it was fantastic. Hey, I think I have friends that call me Mr. Jinx. And I might have done that tonight because if you check out the fit I got going on, Tony, what kind of hat do I have on going on there?
It's the wrong hat. It was Captain America who got ejected for targeting.
He did get ejected for targeting. So I got the new fit hat because, as you know, Marshawn Lloyd and the running backs, they nicknamed Taggart Curtis Captain America, right?
Yeah. I like you got his name on it. And the 25. Oh my God. LBC, that is the best cat I've ever seen.
Okay, wait, let me see right here. You see
that
pocket? Curtis.
Curtis.
25. Tackett Curtis.
25.
Right? Oh, there you go. Tackett.
That is
Tackett Curtis.
amazing.
So, you know what? Let me tell you, that was a legitimate hit. He's from Manny, Louisiana. And if that's in the SEC, they just said, hey, let's play the next play. If that's the Big Ten, you play the next play. So it's very symbolic. This is the last game ever on the Pac-12 network. And, hey, they're soft. We're moving on to the Pac-12. But Captain America laid the wood, and that was great, man, because you can't stop him. You can't stop him. The only way you can stop him is to kick him out of the game. But you know what? We didn't need him. So I guess I jinxed him. But you know what? Hey, this is for you, Tackett Curtis. You got to personalize that right here, man.
I love it. That's awesome, Rick. That's great. Yeah. He was playing well tonight. So for those of you guys who didn't know tonight, USC was out 3 linebackers, probably our 3 best linebackers. Eric Gentry, Mason Cobb, and then when Tackett Curtis was ejected for targeting, we were out our 3 best linebackers, still held them to 14 points. So, as far as I'm concerned, this game accomplished what we needed to. I'll tell you, Rick, I'm a little bit worried because Stanford came back from the dead and looked great last night.
Yeah. Hey, hold on a second. We got some people out here. Hey, everybody, we're on the Voice of College Football USC postgame live show. What'd you think of the Trojans tonight? Yeah, all right. How did Caleb play tonight? Awesome. Is he a G or what? Is he a G? He's a G, man. Yeah, okay. All right. What'd you think, sir? What'd you think? Did you have a good game? Yeah. Young man, what'd you think of Caleb? Is that good? Here, why don't you come on here? Let's see your beautiful face. Tell me, can you give a fight on? Go ahead. You're on camera right there. Voice of College Football. Oh,
fight on.
Big bro. Are you a defensive lineman right here? There you go. Give him a fight on. What position do you play? You're quarterback. You keep on playing. How old are you? 11. My goodness. I don't think I was that big till I was 18. All right, brother. Well, you keep on playing. All right, fight on. All right. They're going to take some pictures. That's fantastic. We got some flavor over here. But at the Coliseum, it's fantastic, Tony. It was a great game. Hey, there's some things we got to clean up still on the defensive side. Damani Jackson, one-on-one coverage, and he kind of let the guy go by him. He was a couple steps behind him on that first long pass. He did chase him from behind. They got short yardage, got a touchdown. And then we had a backup, Anthony Beavers Jr. He got burned on the 77, 79-yard touchdown pass. But that was their offense. Pretty much USC was dominant the rest of the game. Caleb was phenomenal. Marshawn Lloyd showed out. Love to see Quentin Joyner, the freshman, on a long TD run. Yeah. Quentin Joyner on a long TD run. And then
the defensive line was a lot better tonight.
Yeah, a lot better tonight. And, Zach Brand showed out last game. A few more freshmen showed out this game. So, progress. It was good. I mean, a little fact for you. Nevada has never been, this is the biggest spread ever, 38-point underdog. Their biggest spread before this was 32 points against Texas A&M in 2015. Kevin Summer was a coach. They went down to Texas A&M. They lost 44-27. Hey, so they kept it with 17. Today, 38-point spread. USC beat them 66-14. Do the math, Tony. I think that is that 48 points?
I think that's more.
Okay. Yeah. I can't do the math right now. 66 minus 14 is...
Yeah, 52.
52. There you go. Thank you. 52. And the only other time that USC played Nevada was in 1929, and that was a 66 shutout. So, hey, SC scored 66 points again, but gave up 14. So, what were your thoughts on the game, Tony?
Again, with this, it was never really, I think, in doubt, but I thought that we accomplished what I wanted to see us. I wanted to see the defense play better. I wanted to see more consistency. I wanted to see the defensive line own the line of scrimmage, which they did, as they should. I mean, it's Nevada. We're not playing Oregon here. This is Nevada. I thought we played against Nevada exactly like we needed to, and we did what we needed to look solid. I wanted lots of guys to play, and I wanted lots of guys to play well. And I thought we really had that, especially quarterback, wide receiver. I mean, we'll have to look at the stats a little later. We'll see how many people had touches on the ball. But we had running backs galore, all look amazing. We had wide receivers galore, all look amazing. I thought that's what we needed.
I think Caleb Williams had a pass, and we kept them guessing all game long, and Taj Washington was open on the left sideline, and that's the sideline where my seats are, Tony. And he threw a bomb, and it looked like Taj was in slow motion, just waiting for that ball. That was a beautiful touchdown. I think it was well over 50 yards on that play, if I do recall, but it was phenomenal. I like Marshawn Lloyd looked a lot better. He got more touches running the ball, and he showed what you can do. He also was on the receiving end. Austin Jones didn't have many carries, but he had quality carries. And I like seeing Miller Moss out there. Miller Moss played a lot of quality minutes in most of the third and fourth period.
He looked great too.
He looked fantastic. Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty crazy when Caleb Williams can play like two and a third quarters and throw up over 300 yards. I think it was 311 yards on 17 of 23 passing for 5 TDs. All right, and we had a rushing TD there too. And you know what? He's not even straining. This is just, I mean, he's out there just having fun. He might as well be in flip-flops and shorts. And speaking of flip-flops and shorts, Tony, you know, a friend of mine, not a friend, but I think a friend of everybody who's my age or younger, a little bit younger, we lost a friend last night. We lost Jimmy Buffett. And Jimmy Buffett was the king of flip-flop and shorts. So I want everybody to raise a glass tonight if you love Jimmy Buffett. But he is the total G. He was about Margaritaville. He didn't want to be famous, but his music was about the anti-establishment, getting lost in margaritas and having fun and your flip-flops and just enjoying the moment. God bless you, Key West legend Jimmy Buffett, who's now having margaritas with Ernest Hemingway and the pirate Mike Leach down in Key West. So fight on, Jimmy Buffett. Love you, man.
Fight on, Jimmy Buffett. That's for sure.
Right,
LBC,
Tony, well,
how was the crowd tonight?
The crowd was good. It's Labor Day weekend. You know, whatever. I mean, I think we've had maybe, I'm guessing 55,000, 60,000. But, Nevada wasn't good. They scored 18 points a game last year, gave up 29. They were 2-10. They started 2-0, lost 10 in a row.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't figure it would be a huge crowd. Oh, LBC. Hold on, LBC. We lost you. Let me fix. No, we got you back. Sorry.
So next week is Stanford. You know, Stanford had a great game against Hawaii. That's going to be a real game because their quarterback is good. Oh, they're huge crowd. Hey, Jay, how many people are in the crowd? Jay, what do you think? Come here. Jay Miley, friend of the show. What were your thoughts on the game?
Awesome game. Caleb went off. Defense was better. You know, no complaints tonight. I mean, what do we win by, man? Let's do the math again, Rick.
Oh, yeah. 66-14. Is that 50 points? 52 points. I got lost in the sauce for a second there. I'm just having too much fun. This is great because you know what? It's the last game, Tony, on the Pac-12 network. The Pac-12 network was never our friend. And you know what? No. Now we're going to the Big Ten, and we get our choice. NBC, CBS, Big Ten Network, Fox. So, hey, we got paid.
Hey, we'll take it.
Yeah. So, Tony, I'm going to make – go ahead.
I was going to say, it looks like a beautiful night.
All right. Would you like to get a little fan perspective, or I can move on? You can get some fans in the chat, some questions, or I can take some questions right here. What would you like?
Sure, take some questions right there. We're building up the chat here. Anybody have if you have everybody in the chat, if you have questions for LBC, put them in the chat. We'll ask him live on the air outside the Coliseum as he goes to get some more folks. But what a just a nice, good, solid win. I mean, that's the thing that, you know, for USC fans, one of the things that we really wanted to see was we want to see the defense look good, look decent. I mean, again, it's Nevada. It's not, you know, the Green Bay Packers, but the defense controlled the line of scrimmage and did what they needed to do. And so, you know, from that end, I think was pretty good. And so once again, our final score from the Coliseum, USC 66, Nevada 14. And we've got LBC live with some Trojan fans outside the Coliseum.
Hey, Tony, I'm here with Vicky. and Vicky was here at the game, and she has some comments to make about Caleb Williams and the Trojans. Vicky?
What'd you think, Vicky? Oh, we can't hear her, LBC.
Okay, so let me see. They can't hear you. Let me see what I can do here. Okay. Let's
Right now.
go ahead.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead and speak a little bit louder.
We can't hear.
Okay. Okay.
I think we're actually picking up the microphone from your earphones.
Okay.
Is the problem.
Oh, 1 second. Let's do that. Hold on.
All right, well, Rick sorts that out. What tight end delay. We may get him a mic. We're trying this out. We're trying out something new before we bother investing in equipment here. But yeah, no, it was exactly the kind of game USC wanted. Caleb Williams looked great. Team looked great. What did you guys think? The Grinch haters seem to have settled down, which is kind of nice. Mike Fort wants to know where's the hot dog. Mike, you get the hot dog once you leave the stadium. You got to find the little roach coaches. They're always delicious. So that was kind of nice. Tackett Curtis, that was an interesting thing. Kind of a little bit of a sketchy call, a very Pac-12 call, not a very SEC call or a very Big Ten call, but a very Pac-12 call for him to be ejected for targeting. But just, the way he throws himself at folks, just unfortunately the way the rules are nowadays, I think you kind of get that sometimes with any kind of really good defensive player that's really just throwing themselves out at it. Tight end delay, I think it really hits it right well here. He says, solid performance, what the Trojans needed. And Rick is back. Yep, you're back. And there goes the band. We've got the Song Girls leaving the Coliseum with Rick. Always a good place to be. Oh, Rick, we just lost your video. And while we try to get Rick's video back, once again, guys, we are just trying this out, having Rick after the game live. We thought it might be kind of fun for you guys, for folks that haven't been here at the Coliseum and don't know what it's like. So hopefully we'll get him back in just a sec. Gixer Squid says, fight on, great game. This is a key. The key is improvement. All right, Rick. Go ahead. And he's leaving with the band as they march back to campus. Oh. And with
Tony, can you hear me? Tony. Tony.
Go ahead, Rick.
Okay, here we go.
Streamyard's giving us all sorts of adventures tonight, guys. Sorry about that.
Well, we got Jacobo.
We got Jacobo. There he is. Friend of the show, Jacobo Herrera, USC drum major, and the Trojan who staffs the field. You guys haven't seen Rick's interview with him. He's just an absolute great guy. Really smart, fantastic, and does a great job leading the band. You guys will hear the band. If you watch the USC games, you know our band. And there they go, headed back to campus.
Hold on, Trojans. Yeah.
Conference Commissioner Gummy points out all our audio is in the transfer portal right now. It feels like that.
Beat the farm. You can hear them, Tony. They're saying, beat the farm. We're getting ready for Stanford. Beat the farm. Beat the farm. Beat the farm.
For our non-Trojans out there, one of the USC traditions is that the moment the game clock hits 0, the chance of beat whoever immediately transition to the next team. So they have transferred already to beat the farm as we get ready for Stanford. Oh, all right. Well, Rick, while we watch the band there for a minute, guys, we would love to hear what you have to think about what you thought about the game. So let me put up the call-in link right there on the screen, and I'll put it in the chat. One of the things we always try to do here is we want to hear what you guys think. So as Rick heads to the car here, we want to know, what did you guys think about the USC game? So give us a call and tell us your thoughts on it, because it was, again, from my perspective, pretty simple. It gave us what we needed. But let's hear what you guys thought. So I've got the link in the chat, and Tim Prangley will be joining us shortly. He's on his way home right now. And Rick will soon be in the car and back with us. But we want to hear what you guys think. All right. While we wait for that, why don't we do a quick deep dive into what else happened today? So I love this from Jason Kirk today. He said, tired. The Pac-12 is bad and shouldn't exist. Wired. The Pac-12's 2023's last undefeated conference is too powerful to exist. And that is true. Right now, the Pac-12 is the last undefeated conference. I haven't checked the last moment score, but as of a little bit ago, Washington State was beating Colorado State 29-3. Big win here for the Pac-12. Colorado, who I'll tell you, the line to eat crow is huge on Coach Prime, and I will take my place in it because I didn't think they'd pull it off. And sure enough, they went and beat TCU today at TCU. So Coach Prime is celebrating. Stanford, who we thought was certainly what we thought was one of the weaker teams in the conference, has turned out to be looking a lot better. They're rebooted offense under Troy Taylor, new quarterback, a lot of new players, and they looked pretty good in beating Hawaii. So congrats to Stanford. For anybody who else didn't see, Oregon just demolished Portland State 81-7. I mean, they just laid it on thick. So Oregon fans are celebrating. I mean, what are you even doing if you're playing a game 81-7? But go Ducks, because that was a nice win for them as well. Huskies steamrolled also Boise State. That was another one that the doubters kind of worried, would this be a game where maybe the old Boise State ghosts would come back, and they absolutely did not. So congrats to the Huskies. Bow down to Washington on that. And then perhaps the biggest surprise of the day in the Pac-12, kudos to the California Golden Bears. Just stomped North Texas 58-21. Now, we laughed about on our Pac-12 show the other night about Cal went to Denton, Texas to play this game. And we said, oh God, what if they lose? And I had my faith, because I really think Justin Wilcox is doing some good things. I think he's really trying to help build that program back up, and hasn't quite clicked yet, but I think they're doing the right things today as they just laid waste to UNT. And that score could have been a lot worse. And then the other night, big game, Utah just took it to Florida and sort of avenged their ghosts from the year before, which was pretty impressive. And then the closest call, Arizona State. Maybe they're the worst team in the pack. Who knows? But they squeezed past Southern Utah in a game that ended at, 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, delayed by a dust storm, like truly like a cartoonish dust storm that engulfed the stadium, lightning, and then a rainstorm. So who knows? But Arizona State got out with a win. Then friend of the conference, Notre Dame, just destroyed Tennessee State, which is too bad. That game is actually pretty cool. For those of you guys who didn't know this, Tennessee State is the first ever HBCU, so the first ever historically black college to go into Notre Dame Stadium and play there. So, that was pretty cool for them. Right now, Arizona is up 7-0 on Northern Arizona, which is pretty cool. UCLA is about to kick off against Coastal Carolina. And tomorrow, Oregon State and San Jose State. And for those of you guys who didn't know, Mountain West Commissioner Gloria Nevarez is at, because I think it's still going on, the Wazoo game against Colorado State, meeting with her Mountain West folks and with being there for Washington State. And she's going to be there tomorrow in San Jose for the Oregon State, San Jose State game. So as it looks more and more like Oregon State and Washington State have a strong future with the Mountain West teams, whether that's under the Pac brand or under the Mountain West brand, pretty cool that she is there. Rick, can you hear us? Can Rick hear us? I don't know. We got lots of static.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, we got you now.
Yes, I can hear you. What's your question?
Oh, I was going to say, did you hear that Mountain West Commissioner has been meeting with Oregon State and Washington State is at both their games this weekend?
Oh, wow. Well, hey, I hope for their sake, that seems like based on the alternatives, that's where they should be, is in the Mountain West. They'd be very competitive in that conference. So good luck to Oregon State and Washington State. I hope they find a home in the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah, me too. Rick, did you get to watch any of the Colorado game today?
I did. I watched the first half, and I was very impressed. And let me tell you this. Last year, TCU had all the breaks. TCU's made some mistakes the first half. I don't know if you're watching that game, Tony, but they're at the 12-yard line through an interception. The quarterback, Chandler Morris, now you can see why he was a transfer. He threw that ill-fated pass, didn't see the safety rushing in from the right side to the left side, picked that off. Also had a field goal kicker that missed the field goal. So they gave up 10 points in the red zone first half. Last year, it seemed like they had all the breaks. And Dion and his group, you know, Travis Hunter missed out on a layout touchdown in the first half, but he was phenomenal. I think they said he played 60 plays in the first half on offense and defense. And, hey, credit to Dion. A lot of people question his coaching ability at the Power 5 level after being in the FCS, but he has a special magic with his players. And I'll tell you what, they played above their heads, and credit to him. Congratulations on beating number 17 TCU at their home stadium. This wasn't at Jerry Jones Stadium or neutral field. He goes in there and beats a team that was in the college football playoff championship game last year. So congratulations, Colorado Buffaloes. And they're moving on to play hosting Nebraska next week. I
know that's going to be quite a game. Gixer Squid. Go ahead.
I think this is a gentleman we saw last week. This is Steve. Steve, number 22. If you guys remember Steve, we just crossed the street. Big guy right here. Say hi. We're on the Voice of College Football. Yeah. Say hi to Tony.
Fight on, Steve.
What'd you think of tonight's game, Steve? Looking better? Still Nevada, but we're rocking and rolling. Hey, Steve, it's great to see you. Have a good evening. All right, buddy. Okay, buddy. Yeah, here, let me give you a. Hold on 1 second here.
You guys, I just saw we have a Chick-fil-A on campus now, so that is new, and I'm jealous. I would have killed for that when I was an undergrad. That's awesome. So yeah, that was a big game, but USC's game once again, great win for the Trojans, 66-14 over Nevada. Hey guys, we'd love to hear what you think. So those of you guys, we got Trojans there. You're on your way home from the game. You were watching it at home. We'd love to have you give us a call.
Hey, here's Steve. Steve, I'm going to give you this code right here, the QR code. Just scan it, and you can go ahead and subscribe to Voice of College Football. All right, buddy? Yeah. Fight on, man. All right, buddy. Oh, you scan the QR code, and you can subscribe to our channel. Yeah, I saw you. That's right. Fight on, brother. How you doing? Yeah. All right. Well, hey, your family right here.
Rick is doing some crowd work. I love it.
This is LBC on the Voice of College Football. Scan it. Hey, follow us all here. It's great, guys. Hey, we're going to go national championship, right? Fight on, brother. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it, sir. All right. That's Steve and his buddy. What was your name, sir, again? Ron's the dad. All right. Ron is Steve's good man. He's the father. Hey, what are the odds I bump into these fine gentlemen? It's destiny. We're going to go to the college football playoff and win. And I am Rick, LBC Trojan. There you go. We'll see you next week.
All right.
All right.
Did you get to watch the Stanford game last night? What are you thinking about the game for next week?
Wow. USC better be ready because Troy Taylor's done an amazing job. We always know Stanford has great athletes. USC was competing for a defensive player by the name of David Bailey out of Modern Day. And David Bailey showed out last night. I think he had 2 sacks. He had 3 or 4 tackles for loss, probably 5 tackles. He looked great defensively, number 23. Their quarterback was solid. He's elusive. You think you're going to sack him, and then he can also pass the ball. He can run the ball. Love their tight end. Stanford has their tight ends, and then Filkins can run the ball. He can move the ball. Solid offensive, defensive line. It was against Hawaii. People say, hey, it was Hawaii. But Hawaii traveled 10 hours and gave Vanderbilt all they could handle in a 35-28 loss. So, yeah, we'll get to see Stanford. That's going to be a good test because the first two games, yes, preseason games, but Stanford is going to be ready to play USC. And if they don't protect the run, and if they don't shore up their secondary coverage, they're going to get burned by Stanford's tight end. So we have to watch for that.
All right. Hey, we got our first caller. We got Gixxer Squid joining us. Gixxer, are you on your way back from the game?
No, I wasn't able to go today, but I can tell you I enjoyed watching it from home, though. That's for sure. Great game. I thought, you're going to give me a hard time for this one, but you've heard me say it more and more, like every show, special teams. But I thought they did a great job today. I never got so excited to see such a well-placed punt.
It's true.
But no, great game. No, wasn't really a surprise. I don't know. I think I joined a little late, so I don't know if you watched on the Pac-12 network, but they were talking about just Caleb Williams, this year, just the way his progressions and his reads and how he's just being more methodical. I thought it was really good. I will tell you, I kind of missed the more elusive, where's Caleb going to run days of last year, but I think longevity wise, he's just being more methodical and really staying in the pocket. I thought it was a great win.
Well, and hopefully saving those crazy times for when we need them.
Exactly. And Zachariah Branch, man, every spot you compete for, but how can you just not see the talent in what he brings? I mean, he's just so elusive.
He's so good. He was great today.
Yeah, he really was. But no, great game. Defense. I think I mentioned it earlier in a brief comment. I think everything that I saw today was an improvement upon last week, and that makes me just feel better as a fan.
Yeah, we really, the defense looked a lot better. The defensive line, I thought, owned the line of scrimmage a lot better than they did last week.
Although I don't know what you thought. What do you think of that targeting call?
Here's what I think. In the Pac-12, that's targeting. In the SEC, it's not.
Yeah.
That's my two. I mean, the thing about Tackett, and I love Tackett because he's amazing, but like he is one of those guys who flings their body at the ball carrier, and those guys who are great like that, and you need that, and that's what you need. And every so often you're going to end up under these rules, you're going to end up with a targeting call.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna date myself with this one, but did you ever play NFL Blitz on PlayStation?
I did not.
Okay. Well,
before or after Tecmo Bowl?
I don't remember, but my point is when they were talking about Shane Lee and just highlighting him briefly, I was looking at him and compared to the other defensive backs, and I'm thinking, man, that guy is and he is just all muscle. I mean, I'm just thinking, man, what an improvement. Just like, I don't know. He's just a freak. Like, he's just a specimen. I would not want to have to look in his eyes.
It's true. Hey, Bear Alexander looked a lot better this week too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, hey, great show as always. I'm going to hop off, but wanted to call in and, fight on, 2-0, and we've got 10 more to go.
2-0, 10 more, 13 more to go. Hopefully, we'll see.
All right. See ya.
Right on, Gixxer. Thanks for calling in. All right. Next up to bat, we've got Avery Nobles. Avery, welcome to the USC Postgame Live.
What's up? How you doing today?
Good. What'd you think of the game tonight?
Hey, so I called last week and I was in an emotional tirade because of the defense. So this week I'm a little bit more calm. I think we had a more complete game. The reality is the test starts next week, right? I'm pretty solid with everything today. My only thing is I wish we kind of would run the ball a little bit more. And man, I'm a fan of Darwin Barlow. Get that guy in the game, man. Get that guy some more touches. Like, man, whatever I got to do I need to email Riley and Coach Kel McDonald? Like, get that guy. I feel like he should be the 1-2 punch to everything we have going on the running side of the ball. But I am fairly impressed this week with the win. But truthfully, let's be honest. Like, we know what we were going to do today. We knew who we were facing. The mission at hand was pretty easy. So I'm just hoping that we can really hit the ground running next week when we hit conference play and take care of everything. Dion showed me what I thought, and that's honestly being truthful. That's why I was kind of panicking last week, because I knew that Prime was going to have his team ready to play. I watched UW today. My God, Michael Penix lit it up. So that's what my concern was last week. That I didn't want us to come out of the off season with any doubt, and I just hope that we continue the streak that we're on.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think you're right. All hats off to Colorado and Coach Prime. They looked great today.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, keep up the work. I watched the show the other day with Matt, and he was on a tirade about Grinch. So I think Grinch has his job in the bag for another week. So, man, that's really it, man. I hope we keep chipping and chopping away at it. I just want us to get better over time and being even more transparent. Where are the turnovers? Like, man, I'm not saying we're not playing good on defense, but where are the turnovers? But outside of that, I hope we're ready to play. And then just a little side note, I'm here in Georgia. That quarterback for Stanford last night, the Buford program here in the state of Georgia is one of the highest programs in the nation and in the state. So I know he's going to be ready to play next week.
He looked great. He looked great against Hawaii. I mean, it was Hawaii, but Hawaii looked great against Vandy. So right. I was really impressed because, I was worried Stanford was going to have a really, really bad year, and we'll see. I mean, the Pac is going to be wild this year.
I don't think there's a significant drop off from the SEC to the next best conference, which is the Pac-12. Top to bottom, the quarterback play is really good, and there are a lot of good coaches in this conference. So that's why I keep stating the obvious, man. I hope that we come to play every Saturday.
Yeah, if we don't, we're going to be in trouble.
But outside of that, hey, man, thanks for everything that you're doing. Appreciate you putting me on today. And, man, hey, check this out. Fight on, and I'm in better spirits this week.
Hey, we'll take that. Aren't we all? Fight on, yep. Avery. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir.
And LBC Robbie points out UW looked legit too. Absolutely, Robbie. UW looked really strong. I thought that could be a trap game for them. Boise State, they got all the history. They got coach. Boise State was fired up for this game. Boise State fans thought they were going to do some great stuff in this game, and UW just rolled them. So, again, UW, Cal, Oregon, Stanford with the big win, Colorado with the big win. I believe the only undefeated conference still, which is pretty darn cool. So go Pac-12. Once again, as we wait for LBC is going to be in his car and join us again in a little bit. We'd love to hear what you guys think. I know you're sitting there watching your game. Looks like over 100 of you guys right now or so. We'd love to hear what you think of the game. So we got the links in the chat, and then or you can just scan the QR code there on the screen. So we'll dive in. Once again, the game tomorrow is going to be really interesting. We've got Oregon State and San Jose State in San Jose, where once again Mountain West Commissioner Gloria Nevarez is going to be in the house with both Oregon State and San Jose State. And probably, if I were to put my guess on it, I don't know, is there a casino maybe somewhere in Macau that I can put money on next conference commissioners? But I would bet Gloria Nevarez will be the one running the Pac-12 before too long. So we'll see. I love this. Conference Commissioner Gumby has actually found the emojis of the full Pac-12. We'll leave that up there in celebration of the undefeated conference here for a minute. One thing that's also going to be kind of cool. So, guys, we've kind of experimented here tonight with LBC outside the Coliseum. So we wait. Tim is on his way home. We'll hopefully be joining us shortly. But we're going to have LBC and Tim are going to be live at Tustin Brewing in Tustin. So if you're an LA-based fan, away games, go check it out at Tustin Brewing. It'll be really fun. They'd love to hang out with you guys. They'd love to have you. And you can be live on the show from Tustin Brewing after away games. So if you're going to be in LA during an away game, we would love to have you guys join us, which would be a lot of fun. So USC just absolutely whips Nevada, and we will take it. So let's take a look real quick, guys. Let's take a quick peek at the schedule for what is coming up as we wait for the guys to get in here. Once again, USC, we beat San Jose State. We just beat Nevada. Next coming up, we've got 3 interesting weeks. So Stanford, who's a lot better than we thought, coming up, and then we get a bye week. So once again, for those of you guys who don't know, USC and Stanford both play Notre Dame, one in the middle of the season, one at the end of the season. So the way the Pac-12 adjusts for that is that the USC-Stanford game is always way early. So that's why we play Stanford tomorrow in week 2 and then have this ridiculous off week after that because of our week 0 game. So we've got Stanford. We get a week off. Oh, is Avery still there? Nope. Okay. LBC disappeared. He'll be back with us in a minute. So we get a week off. Then we go play at Arizona State, who did not look good the other night. We go to Colorado, who all of a sudden is going to be a really interesting game. Tickets for that one will be at a premium. Then we come home for Arizona, go to Notre Dame, host Utah, go to Cal, host Washington, go to Oregon, and then come back for UCLA. So if you guys know the most, which game worries you the most? Are we afraid of Colorado now all of a sudden? I don't think I'd be afraid of them. I also don't think TCU is very good. You guys know that I kind of thought TCU was a Cinderella all last year, and I feel like she turned into a pumpkin against Georgia, and that pumpkin sat on the porch all year. So we'll see. We'll see what TCU brings, but who knows? And then also, I didn't check. Is the Baylor game over? Did they lose? Somebody in the chat, tell me what happened with Baylor. Because that was also a debacle, it sounds like. So once again, USC steamrolls Nevada. We want to know what you guys think of this. Come on, guys, give us a call. Who's sitting there? You're sitting there on your couch watching some games. Give us a call. Tell us what you think. We'll put the link in the chat one more time as we wait for Rick to give us a call back. Now, one of the things we tried to do is Rick actually had some fun interviews. We had some video issues getting them to you, but we had some fun interviews from some fans from before the game too. So hopefully next week at Stanford, we'll have those live to show you guys, which will be pretty cool. 12 team, are you not going to miss the most? So there's the next question for everybody in the chat. Tell us in the chat, or if you're watching this later, tell us in the comments. Which Pac-12 team that we're not going to have to play anymore are you happiest to get rid of? Which road game do you not want to go to anymore? So we'll see. Everybody always has very different opinions on that. You know, some folks it's about the team. Baylor lost. Thank you, touchdown USC. Oh, it couldn't happen to some nastier fans. That's all right though. All right. I love this question. Here from Big Bumbo 22. What are the chances the UCLA game would sell out? I do not think they are high. Poor Bruins continue to always struggle a little bit there. So we'll see. Mikey G didn't get to catch the game. He was watching the Ducks lay at 81 points on Portland State. Congrats to that, Mikey G. Mikey G is a great friend of the channel and a huge supporter of the Voice of College Football community. So we love Mikey G. He says saw 0 of USC today. Seems encouraging on defense? Question mark. It was. It was a lot better than before. Again, we were not playing the Chicago Bears. We're playing Nevada, and they were not a strong team, but they had a lot. I mean, they've really made a lot of improvements. They had a great transfer class in Nevada, so it's a much better Nevada team than we saw before. Michigan man Jason points out USC defense played much better. LV Live, great win today for the defense. Michigan man Jason points out 49 yards rushing. Yeah, so it was just a lot better than we expected. So anyway, we'll see. All right. Once again, sorry, StreamYard is being quite weird. Sorry, guys. It is a night of technical adventures, which is maybe why we don't have LBC or Tim with us. Poor Tim has been in some sort of technical nightmares. All right. LBC Robbie says he's having a bit too many drinks to call in tonight. Oh, that's, LBC Robbie, that's all the more reason to call in. It's sort of part of the USC spirit and tradition right there. And that's what inspires you to go get those bacon wrapped hot dogs that we see LBC get. All right. Let's put a link in the chat there. So once again, we'd love to hear what you guys think of the game, what you thought of the defense, what you thought of the offense, what you thought of the other Pac-12 games. Give us the scoop here. You don't leave me hanging as we wait for folks to get back. Rick just messaged. I think he is stuck in the parking structure, so hopefully he'll be out in just a moment. Anthony says, Oregon State. You're not going to miss Oregon State, Anthony? Oh, hey, they just redid their stadium. It's really nice. Yeah, I love Corvallis. The problem with Corvallis is that it's haunted for us. And, every team has one stadium of an opponent. Every team does. I swear. Every team has one stadium that is haunted for them. It just weird things happen at. For Michigan State, I think it's probably Iowa. For USC, it's Corvallis. We can have the number one team in the country and go up there and just somehow lose. So who knows? Anyway, we'll see. What back to other folks. Where are you going to be glad to get rid of? Was it the desert? Weird stuff always happens in the desert. I don't know if you guys know this. I think Washington hasn't won at Arizona State since something like 2001. Even those great Washington teams always blew it at Arizona State. Stanford and Oregon. I mean, Stanford haunts Oregon. No matter how good Oregon is, Stanford always finds a way to beat them. And for us, it is it's Corvallis. Ugh. Those crazy Corvallis games. Anyway, we do want to hear what you guys think. So let us know here as we wait for Rick. Once again, taking a look around the pack. What's the update on the Washington State score? Somebody put it in the chat. Have they scored more since then? I can't flip out of this window to actually see it. But C. White says, I've been to 2 losses in Corvallis. Trust me, it's that freaking buzzsaw. Oh, I know. When Benny Beaver gets his chainsaw, Benny Beaver's a great mascot. And somehow I am friends on Twitter with Bernice Beaver, the other mascot. So that's actually pretty cool. I chat with Bernice or whoever runs her Twitter account, which is pretty fun. Blessed and Breaks asking, did Mason Cobb get hurt? Yes. And then linebacker Tackett Curtis was tossed out for a targeting penalty in the first half. So that's USC was without its 3 best linebackers most of the night, which is it's pretty nice. Mikey G says, talking about the Oregon here, which was just a steamrolling. He says, just got back from the game. For those claiming Oregon was running it up. Okay, yeah, that happened. But so many third stringers in the second half. And Mikey, that's absolutely fair, I'm sure, because Portland State is not on the level of Oregon. That's a game you would say, why are they doing this? They should absolutely not be playing that kind of game. But when you play an in-state team, I think it's actually sometimes kind of cool. For the other school, it's really cool for them to go to the state. It's kind of a neat experience. It's better than sending Portland State to play Arizona or something like that. So, having that game in state is pretty neat, even if you did lay 81 points. I think I saw John Wilner say your basketball team rarely scored 81 points, 4 times all last year or something like that. So that's pretty wild. Oh, Bless and Break says he's not stunned at all by Colorado. Deanna's coaching staff filled with NFL and blue blood experience. They are, but they also had a lot of questions. Max says Oklahoma won 73-0. I forget which, orphanage or convent they played, but that's, a very Oklahoma type thing to do for early in the season. Matthew's asking, let's ask you guys this in the chat. What do you guys think? He's asking, do we think Notre Dame beats Ohio State coming up? Now, this is a big game. If Notre Dame beats Ohio State, guys, that's going to be really interesting for USC as that game gets ready to come up. And I think, is that LBC back with us? LBC, are you back? Oh, well, let me add you in. Oh, try now. LBC, you're back.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
All right. How are we doing, everybody?
We're good. Are you on your way back home?
On my way back home, and I wanted to share some information with you, Tony. We tried doing some pregame production taping because it was the last Pac-12 network show. And unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, but I just went through and reviewed those videos that we recorded with a bunch of Trojans outside of the Trojan Athletic Fund, Tommy Tavern tailgate. And I got some comments for you, Tony. If we figured I'd give shout out to those people that were with us. Yeah.
Let's hold off on those for just a minute because LBC Robbie just called in.
Fantastic. LBC Rob.
We got LBC Rob, one of our favorites. What's going on?
Man, it's the first time I've been somebody's favorite, Tony. What's going on, fellas?
What did you think of the game tonight?
I was really pleased. I really like the effort. I really like the style of play. I like the play calling by Grinch. I little hesitant. I'm not so sure what we're looking at. Nevada's not what not the Nate Burleson, Phil Fitch, Virgil Green, Kevin Kaepernick team. But I besides the second series by the offense, I thought everything played very well. I really think that Caleb being greedy thing's going to bite us at one point, like it did last year at Utah. At some point, I really wish that would stop. But that's the only complaint. It's Zach Kurz getting kicked out. My kind of kid.
And that was a great tackle he had. I mean, he nailed that guy.
Yeah, no, he nailed it, and you're going to get called for that. But it's just the effort, the overall attitude, and the thing I like to see. And just like I do, guys, but Tony, I love you guys and Tim so much. I think this is so great, and you guys get to everybody else, man. I just wanted to call real quick. I'm too drunk before I want to say nothing bad.
Well, we're glad you called. Thank you for calling. And everybody else in the chat, we'd love to hear from you too. Love you too. We'll see you soon. Man. Fight on.
Later, man.
Oh, thanks for calling. All right, guys, I got the link in the chat. We want to hear from you. And just by the way, for the record, LBC Trojan is not driving. He is just riding in the car. So.
Yes, I am a passenger in the car. Friend of the show, Jay Miley, is driving me home. Thank you, Jay. You're a G. Fight on,
Thanks,
baby.
Jay.
Hey, so Tony, I understand we had some technical difficulty, but I looked at the videos and I want to give these people a shout out because they went on video and they were answering some questions that we had based on this being the last broadcast on the Pac-12 network. Maybe I could share a few with you. Is that okay?
We love it. Absolutely.
So there was a gentleman I went up to, and actually I went up to a table and they said, hey, we got to get our friend because he watches your show. And I thought that was so cool. He comes up. He's like, oh, yeah, I love Tony. I love Tim. His name is Bradley. I want to give a shout out to Bradley. And I asked him, hey, what does the definition of fight on mean to you, Bradley? And he says, fight on means fighting through the Clay Helton era into the Lincoln Riley era. But that was a great answer. And I said, what are the Big Ten venues that you're going to go road trip to? He said he wants to go see a whiteout at Penn State. He wants to go to the Big House, and he wants to go to Wisconsin. So, Bradley, hey, man, thanks a lot for watching the show. Big shout out to you. And you have some great friends out there. I love hanging with you at your table. I want to give also a shout out to two women that were there at the table, Kelly and Maddie. Kelly and Maddie are great Trojans from the South Bay. They were drinking their Fight On, which was beautiful. A lot of people drinking the Fight On Pale Ale. Beautiful thing. And then one last thing, Tony.
Yeah.
I came to a great table of Trojans, and I said, hey, who's the one fan base that you really you're not going to miss leaving the Pac-12? And one gentleman said, Oregon. They're fake and tough guys, but they've never won anything. Janine said, yeah.
Although I did last, I saw the video. We couldn't get it converted to upload, but I did see the video.
Okay.
And it made me laugh because there was definitely some Oregon hate, but I was laughing because they're not going anywhere.
But I want to give these people a shout out because They were great, and hopefully they subscribe. I think they might be watching right now. But sorry, guys,
Nice.
we had a little
Love it,
technical
guys.
difficulties. Janine said, "Bye, Ducks." Corinne said, "Stanford, she's not going to miss them." Kim said, "Quack is whack." And Todd said,
True.
Cal, K-A-L, done. Big shout out to Todd. He's from Bakersfield, and that's the home of Cody Kessler, a great Trojan. So great to see these people coming down from Bakersfield to support USC. And so there's some flavor we had from the tailgate, Tony, and hopefully we'll get those questions or those technical difficulties worked out next time. We'll get some videos of pregame tailgating at the Coliseum.
Absolutely. I'll tell you something you missed, Rick, that was really funny. If you guys haven't seen, anybody in the chat, USC, the actual athletic department, puts on a pregame show 2 hours before the show. So the first hour and a half of it or so is Cody Kessler, Tua Cravens, Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and then they bring on all sorts of guests with Keely Ray. So today I had Cheryl Miller on. I mean, one of the greatest women's basketball players in the history of the game. And Cheryl Sua tried to get Cody Kessler, former USC quarterback, to play Cheryl Miller one-on-one, and Cody was like, "Absolutely not." He's like, "No." He's like, "Abs." It was really funny. One of the things that's really neat about that show is they really bring in lots of famous Trojans, and then they're old friends. They just talk smack of each other. I love it. It's like hanging out with friends. If you guys haven't seen, it's pretty cool. Conference Commissioner Gumby says, "Donate the commies," on behalf of his Cal Bears, who just stomped. I mean, they just curb stomped North Texas today.
Pac-12 looked good today, Tony.
They did. The Pac-12 is the only undefeated conference right now.
Is that true? We're undefeated.
The only major one is undefeated.
Even with ASU almost choking in a dust storm.
ASU almost choked to death in a dust storm, but they found a way to win. So we'll take it.
Hey,
at 5 in the morning Eastern time.
I want to ask your opinion on something, Tony.
Tell me.
What did you think of that touch? What did you think of that touchdown by Deuce Robinson?
I was really thinking that I really wish that Comcast wouldn't have killed my internet to miss it. So I just saw the highlights of it right after.
All right.
As I was reboot, because I can only watch the Pac-12 network. I can't watch it on the regular TV. I have to watch it on the Apple TV that's connected to a different TV. So when the internet blips out, the Apple TV and I was like, oh. And I mean, the whole world right now is just having lots of TV issues, which is kind of funny because I feel like it's almost a testament to why the Pac-12 wanted to get away from some of these cable companies. But oh well.
Well, so here's what I want. I know we have a lot of Ohio State. I know we have a lot of Ohio State fans that tune in, and they think they're the best wide receiver room. And I don't dispute that Marvin Harrison is the best wide receiver. But if you're not taking a look at USC's depth at wide receiver and the embarrassment of riches that we have from 1 through 10, Ohio State doesn't measure up to USC because you might have 1 and 2, but your 3 to 10 ain't squat. I mean, you look at Taj Washington today. You look at Deuce Robinson, Brendan Rice, Michael Jackson didn't play last week. Michael Jackson with a touchdown. You look at
he was great tonight. Yeah, he had a couple of good catches.
Mario Williams. Did I mention Mekhi Lemon? Did I mention Jacoby Lane? I didn't even mention transfer Dorian Singer. It's just like Caleb Williams has 10 bullets in his freaking two guns. He's double holstered. How are you going to stop Caleb Williams? And then you're going to throw in Marshawn Lloyd out of the backfield and Austin Jones. Good luck, son.
Oh, the Marshawn Lloyd, the long run that he had coming out of the backfield, catching the pass and just straight down the field was fantastic.
It's one thing to have a Marvin Harrison Jr. and he's a G. He's a great player, but you don't have a quarterback really throwing the ball this year. Was it McCord or is it going to be Devin Brown? It's a lot different than what they had last year. Caleb Williams with these wide receivers, It's effortless out there. It is just effortless. And he can strike whenever he wants to. And then guess what? He can juke you and go up the middle for 30 yards. It's almost unfair.
Hey, we'll take it though. We
we will.
we survived a lot of years. Although some of our lean years still had some pretty good wide receiver rooms.
So you know what I'm convinced of, Tony? I'm convinced of one thing. I'm convinced of this.
Tell me.
People are going to rail on our defense because you know why? Because they know our offense is so damn good and you can't stop it. So they got to hate something. So because people are miserable. You know, you're out there watching USC, the band playing, the stars are going to come back out. Everything's happening again. All the hate's coming and they know it's coming and they can't stop it. So they got to bitch about something, don't they, Tony? They do.
Oh,
because they're
absolutely.
in Ohio. The weather's bad. It's raining. Industrial smoke in your eyes, you know? You're wishing about winning a national championship, and USC is coming to the Big Ten, and we owned you. We owned you. Yes, you beat us in 2017, but I think we beat you 6 times since 1974. And Woody Hayes ain't coming back, dude. That's what I'm saying.
He's not. He's not.
No, he's not.
I love it.
He's not. And neither is Pete Carroll, but we got Lincoln Riley. And they don't like Ryan Day in Columbus. That's what I hear.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't understand what more they could want from him. I mean, I know what their issues. Their issues, they're not beating Michigan, and to them, so as a Michigan native, by the way, that delights me. Go Blue, hail to Michigan. But I do understand like how they can be so despondent. You know, it's kind of like it's worse than for us in UCLA because you know UCLA and USC as great rivals as we are also kind of partners in crime. Like we're a little more integrated. Michigan and Ohio State are not. They are not integrated. So in fact, I'll tell you a really funny story. A friend of mine once told me the story. A guy came out to his family and he had a conversation with them, and he said something like, you know, oh, Dad, I need to tell you something. Dad, All right, guys, welcome back. We are having all sorts of technical shenanigans tonight, so we are very sorry about that. I just talked to LBC on the phone. He is calling back in just a minute. So to those of you guys who stuck with us through ridiculous technical difficulties, thank you for that. Yeah, I don't know. Tim was in the back room. I don't know why Tim didn't. I don't know what's up with Tim. Hopefully he'll sort out whatever's going on because Tim was right there. So I was hoping Tim was going to hold down the fort. Anyway, yeah, the end of the story was the friend's dad was really glad he wasn't going to Michigan because he was an Ohio State family. So that was that story. Anyway, back to USC 66, Nevada 14. While we wait for Rick to call back in. In the final thing, we'll be able to re-edit that back out. All right, we got Rick back. Rick.
Hey,
there
can
you are.
Can you hear me, Tony?
We can. I don't know. We are having all sorts of internet adventures tonight with the world.
That's okay, man. It's just a typical day. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
Tim on?
We don't. Tim was backstage, and then I don't know where Tim is now. So, Tim, if you can hear us, hopefully call back in. But hey, we have like 70 folks who stuck with us through like 5 minutes of nothing. So you guys are the best Trojan fans out there. We appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with us.
Thank you. Tony, do we have some questions to answer tonight?
Well, hey, Rick, why don't you tell folks about what's going on at Tustin Brewing?
Yeah,
That's
sure.
going to be so fun.
Be glad to. Actually, friend of the show, Jay Miley, carpooling with him. He's dropped me off at Tustin Brewing. I'll be there in like 10 minutes. But
Nice.
We're looking to grow the USC local viewership on the Voice of College Football USC channel. And this is one way of doing it. For the 5 away games, we're going to be broadcasting our show live after the USC games at Tustin Brewing. So
did Rick freeze or did I?
What's that? Oh, I think I'm here. Did I freeze?
All right.
Okay. So if you can hear me, we're going to be broadcasting live after the USC games, away games at Tustin Brewing. And we're going to have former USC players at the game. We'll announce those as we get closer to game day. But come on out. They're going to have Fight On Pale Ale in the can. And we're going to have a great time and watch USC football. If you've never been to Tustin Brewing, they got 2 big screens on each end of the dining area, and they got probably 25 other screens throughout. So it'll be a good time. Great food, great people, right off the 5 freeway in Newport Avenue in Tustin.
All right. Well, that'll be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's for the away game. So, you know, this next week is Stanford, but after Stanford, we start to head on the road. So when we head on the road, hopefully you guys will be able to go there and meet the guys, be on the show, watch it together, and have some fun with some Trojans. And again, by the way, guys, this is not sponsored. There's no money for this. Like, this is just, we just thought it'd be really fun to have an opportunity for Trojan fans and you guys in the community to be able to get together and watch the game.
Yeah, it's going to be a meet and greet. So come out and meet Tim Prangley and myself. And then Tony's going to be running the show from his place out on the East Coast. But it was great. We met some fans out of the Pac-12 championship game out in Vegas. Gixer Squid was there. Jay Miley was there. There was actually a woman and her husband that were out there from Virginia, and she recognized me and Mrs. LBC in the parking lot. So it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And by the way, Mrs. LBC is as cool as it comes. So you guys, if you get to go there, you get to meet Mrs. LBC. She is freaking awesome. So yeah, LBC has done well for himself on that, which would be a lot of fun.
I'm a lucky man. I am. She lets me talk about USC football and drink craft beer, and hey, and I get to golf as well. But
what more can we want?
But hey, I'm a girl dad as well, and the girls are my number one priority. And then I got a passion for craft football. I mean, for USC football and craft beer. So I'm a lucky guy.
Hey, we'll take it. All right. Well, LBC, this has been a wild night of technology, but a nice and solid night of a USC win. So I know you're getting close to Tustin Brewing, so I don't want to keep you too long. As we get ready to wrap up here, give me your final thoughts on this game and looking ahead to Stanford.
Well, Tony, my final thoughts on this game is I wanted to see improvement on the I wanted to see improvement on the defense.
We got keep going, but we do have Will ND, so we'll get to talk to him in a minute too.
Okay,
keep going.
I wanted to see improvement on the defense. I don't know if this game really could show it because of the level of competition. It was really not a game, but I'm glad to see USC win in the fashion that they did because there was a lot of freshmen that got involved. That last drive, I saw the backup offensive line with Cooper Lovelace. I saw Mason Murphy. I saw Alani Noah, Elijah Page. Those are the offensive linemen I saw. I saw Jacoby Lane, and we saw Miller Moss and Deuce Robinson. And then how about Quentin Joyner with that run? You couldn't bring Quentin Joyner down from behind. He had like a 30 to 40 yard TD run. And we saw that at the spring game, but then he showed the explosive speed. So there's so many weapons that USC has, and they're showing out right now. So I thought the offense was more consistent than the first game. That's the feeling I had. The defense was more consistent, but they gave up a couple big plays. I didn't like to see that with the secondary, but they will continue to make adjustments. And that game against Stanford next Saturday on Fox, 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 on the East Coast. That's going to be another test, and I look forward to it.
Nice. All right, we got Will ND. Will,
Tony,
tell us about
okay.
We got Will. Let's get Will's thoughts on USC tonight.
I mean, I did snicker a bit when Nevada scored, but USC's defense was tighter tonight. Obviously, it was lesser competition than San Jose State, but offense looks good as always. You guys have a ton of weapons and are going to be dangerous if a defense can't get a stop. I think SC will win, but SC's defense still has ways to improve, but they have a lot of time before they go to South Bend, so we'll see if Alex Grinch can do it.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know any team out there is going to be able to stop Caleb Williams because Caleb Williams is operating at about a 6 or a 7. Tony, what do you think about that?
I think.
Yeah, I think that they're not all the way there yet. They're not all the way there yet, but I think they're getting where they need to be, and we have a few weeks to ramp up and get us where we have to go. So, overall, I would say.
I don't mean that, Tony. Like,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Tony. I didn't mean like we're not where we need to be. I'm saying Caleb Williams is so good that he hasn't shown you everything that he can do. He's operating at a 6 or a 7 right now. The level of competition. I don't want to be misconstrued or disrespectful, but come on, it's Nevada and San Jose State. Okay, this is like a Tuesday and Wednesday of a Hamilton show in New York, right? You're not going to get the talent to come and watch you until Friday and Saturday night. So you're going to save your best juice for the biggest stage. And you're going to give them what they need, but you're not going to give them what they want. You know what I'm saying? Do you follow me, Tony? Yeah.
Well,
right. So
yeah. I mean, and the thing too is I think that our offense is not calling itself to the maximum extent of what they can do either.
No.
They're using a very simplified offense. So, Will, your Irish looked good today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was lesser. We were playing our first ever FCS opponent in Tennessee State, and it was a little shaky at the beginning, but Sam Hartman looks amazing. He's way better than any Irish quarterback I've seen in a long time. Our running back room is absolutely loaded. We've been using all 5 running backs, and they've all been effective. Wide receivers have a little bit to be desired, but hey, we have time, so hopefully they can get good so they can contribute well against Ohio State. But even so, man, like our running backs just look awesome. So unfortunately, one of them did get hurt in Devin Ford, but Jeremiah Love looked great. Otter Gestime looked great. Jarian Price looked great. Jabron Payne looked great. So,
Estimate's a huge load. Will, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you, Tim.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, you guys look tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best thing about Estimate is he's got soft hands out of the backfield as well. That's the best part about his game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good today.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch the SC game? Because one thing that I really am worried about when we play a guy like Sam Hartman is he's very accurate, and we really lucked out that Brendan Lewis, the transfer from Colorado, he was very inaccurate, and that was very helpful. You know, it was a one-sided affair. The defensive line was just causing havoc all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our defense got a stop with like a minute to go, and they just gave Sam Hartman 7 plays, 7 for 7 for a touchdown. It was great. It was like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much better than anything else I've seen in South Bend in a long time. So, yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch the SC game though?
I watched the highlights. I unfortunately did not have time to watch it. I was caught up in doing the post-game show and watching their game.
So one thing I thought about when I saw Hartman do that cartwheel and almost do a header, it was he got hit. It's like he did a tuck. He just kind of got hit and got spun. Was what happens if Hartman goes down? But the good news for Trojans out there, if you guys were watching the game, you saw the fact that even if we were to lose, and God forbid we did lose, Miller Moss has come in two straight games, and he just went 7 for 10. Now I know this is against Nevada secondary, but he came in and he looked sharp. And not only that, but you guys are seeing when you usually roll him out there, you're seeing all of those true freshmen also on USC's receiving core. That's kind of buried right now. He got in there with 7 for 10, and just marched them straight down from their touchdown. Did the same thing last week. I really hope again behind Hartman, there's not much, but there is clearly showing that USC does have a very solid backup quarterback in Miller Moss.
Yeah, Tim, I couldn't get over Miller. I mean, and obviously he should, right? He's the number 2 quarterback USC. He's working with Cliff Kingsbury every day. But I was impressed. He had the timing down. I mean, he had it all just perfectly dialed in, which is exactly what we need from our backup quarterback.
Yeah, and then going back to the line, Tony, I'm gonna have to go watch the replay on it, but it just looked like Solomon Byrd, even though he didn't get really into the stat sheet very much, I don't think. It just seemed like he was in the backfield, just one step behind all night long, but he was flushing Lewis out of the pocket a lot. He was right there. On one, he almost had a sack, but Lewis barely got back to the line of scrimmage, I think. Just amazing to watch. I mean, I was really just king on that line. The defensive line just played really well. You saw Braylon Shelby get there and end. He's a true freshman, Will. You can see him for 3 years at least. He got in there and bad that ball up in the air. And then you have Stanley catch it out of midair and just take it to the house. That was gorgeous to see. But I'm really happy. Anthony Lucas is another guy. A lot of these guys aren't getting in the stat sheets. They're not getting sacks, but they are just all over the place. And run stuffing. We knew coming in that Keon Bars was going to be something else, and he is. I was watching again. I was just watching the defensive line most of the game. Worrisome for speaking of Sam Hartman. So on 2 of those long pass plays, one of them was against the starter early in the game. And I'm a bit concerned now with Domani Jackson. I'm a huge Domani Jackson fan. He's a true sophomore. Mm-hmm. He had some injuries early on from Modern Day, but he really is having some issues getting beat. He got beat on that ball, and he's going to be our starter, it looks like, over there. So that was a bit concerning to see that happen. We're still giving up those long plays, Tony. The issue, it seems like they're taking care of the ball. Last week they were only the defense held the offense to 5 of 14 on 3rd and 4th down. So I mean, they're getting off the field that way. They're not getting turnovers, but what they are doing is they're stopping them. But they're still giving up these huge explosives. And the ones late in the game, I'm not too worried about. The long runs at the end of the game last week, that long throw over the top this week. Those aren't the kind of things that I'm that worried about happening. I'm worried about in real time though. In the game's on the line, you still have all your stars in there. It just seems we're getting caught flat-footed a lot. So I hope they can clear that up before we get into the conference game. What do you think, Tony?
Well, I mean, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, but one of the things that concerns me a little bit with particularly the secondary play was if you do that against Nevada, what are you going to do against Bo Nix and Michael Penix Jr. and Sam Hartman and whichever one of the characters UCLA puts out there? Because
yeah, or Dudze, right? When he's like legit NFL first rounder.
Or Travis Hunter with what we saw today. So, you know, they need to play a little better. But some of it seemed more like blown coverage and maybe, you know, something that's more fixable. Like,
Dante
you know,
Moore.
it wasn't necessarily I felt like that they were getting beat so much as the coverages were screwed up.
Oh no,
So,
I mean,
hopefully that's a very fixable thing. And, you know, I mean, growing up in football my whole life, you know, you never know, you know, what's a blown coverage and what's just a guy being an idiot.
Yeah. Well, on both of them, it looked like, so on the first one, it looked like Damani Jackson trying to make a play on the ball. He got spun around and he's kind of stopped and the guy just kept running. And on the other one, it was actually Anthony Beavers on that receiver, and that receiver just pulled past him. It was like looked like a speed issue. He just outran him.
There was something going on there. So I mean, I'll have to watch the replay. I didn't catch exactly. I mean, but it's hard for us because we don't know exactly what was called and what they were supposed to do. But you know, they'll figure it out. I was just happy, and Tim, we talked about this a while ago a lot, but I was really happy that they controlled the line more so than we have been. Like that was the thing. The defensive line was able to control the line of scrimmage, and I mean it's Nevada. We should, but we don't always. So we'll get when we can. It was something that was much needed. And Tim, we've been having a nightmare of technical issues right now. So before we have any more, dive in. Tell us, what did you think of the game overall?
But there we go.
Oh, we've got Tim.
Holy crud. Okay. Sorry, you guys. So just so you know, I literally shut I restarted my entire computer. You don't want to hear about this, but I think I'm not touching anything the rest of the night. I'm just gonna leave it the way it is, and hopefully we have technical issues no more.
Yeah, Rick and I have both had just absolute nightmares today with StreamYard, with Xfinity, with his Apple, like just nightmares. So who knows? I could disappear at any moment. So that's why I was asking, as we already did once before. Anyway, what did you think of the game overall?
Have you guys broken down some of the numbers at all yet?
We've looked at a lot. We talked about the game kind of overall in general, but first of all, just give us your overall impressions.
Well, again, I am seeing a lot of improvement on the defense. There's absolutely a ton of.
Oh, Tim, we lost your audio. Yep, Tim, we have no audio of Tim. It is that kind of night.
Oh, man.
All right, guys. Well, hey, the folks in the chat, let me give you one more chance as Tim sorts that out for a minute. Let me give you guys one more chance here to call in and tell us what you think of the game. For our fans who've just joined us, we've been glad. You guys have been troopers sticking with us. Before we all go to watch the UCLA game and you know, throw all of our computers in the dumpster tonight, we love to get one more take on what you thought of the USC game. So you can take a picture of the screenshot. Oh, Tim, you're muted now. Nope, no audio from Tim.
No, we can't hear you.
All right, now?
Oh, now we got you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So in general, I thought that the defense was much better. I'm seeing the improvement. The big thing, Tony, for this and on any defense, it all starts up front. The run defense, I haven't looked at the stats, but except for those two long passes that USC really dominated. I don't know. Again, I didn't see the guards the time my dad's back was ready, so we got out of there a little early. But the overall game, they only gave up 50. Okay, so they only gave up 49 yards rushing, you guys. Now they gave up 311 yards passing, but again, on two of those two long plays, they got 150, 160 yards on two plays. And again, they all count, especially the first one. That was against Domani Jackson, our starter. But the other one, the other 70-yarder, you know, that's against the backup for a touchdown. I came pretty close. I think I predicted with Rick this morning. I said that the game would be 66-10. So I mean, I think I was bang on what we were going to score, and then I just missed what they had. But you know, we just need to tighten up. We're still doing a bit of a rotation. Even last year we had a situation where you had a lot of rotation at the cornerback position, and it said they had Blackman on one side, but you were rotating guys like Sierra on the other side, and Christian Roland Wallace came in late in the game. He was over there. I don't know exactly what their rotation is going to be, but man, they got to find something out because the overall defense has been solid. I mean, if you watch that game, yes, we got to remember that it's Nevada, but they're getting pressure, right? We're seeing pressure. We're not seeing missed gap assignments, really. They kind of, towards the end of the game, they kind of worked out that, that setting the edge. They're doing a lot better job on that. Sometimes.
Oh no, we lost Tim's audio.
We lost Tim's audio again. It is that kind of a night. All right, guys, last chance here. See if Tim can come back. Last chance for you guys to call in. Take a picture. Use any phone, any computer. Use the link in the chat or the QR code on the screen. We'd love to hear from you. Will, any final thoughts? Will, the Pac-12 is undefeated, by the way. Did you know that?
Pac-12 is undefeated. Coastal has moved the ball on UCLA a bit, but they've only scored 3 points. And Dante Moore just came in and already looks a lot better than Garbers. I don't know why Garbers was starting, but yeah, I mean USC and Stanford. Stanford looked pretty good against Hawaii. Like, we don't know how good Hawaii is, but it'll be interesting to see how USC does against the tree. And ND's my Irish are going to be taking on the Wolfpack of NC State. And they had trouble stopping the run against UConn, so I have a feeling we could just run our way to victory against them.
I think you can run it up their throats. Yeah.
Yeah. They're giving up like 6.2 yards over carry, which is crazy against UConn. Yeah. So excited for that game.
Is that in South Bend or is that in
Raleigh? Raleigh.
Okay. Oh, that'll be fun. Did you go?
I know. I want to try it. I want to see. I think UCLA just scored a touchdown, but yeah. I mean, I want to try to go see if I could get someone to go with me because I don't want to go alone in Raleigh just in case it gets a little rowdy. So
no, NC State's great. I had a friend that went to school there, and I've been down there. So yeah, if you get a chance, go. LBC Robbie says UCLA just scored. Nice.
Yeah, that was a good drive by Dante. He just took over.
All right, if Tim, if you can hear us, Tim, put something in the chat or whatever. Should we wait for you or should we wrap up as we get?
Hey Tony, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, guys. Just some observations here. You guys have mentioned the Pac-12 is undefeated. I don't know what the score of the UCLA game. What is the score now, guys?
14-3 Bruins.
Okay, so let's look at this. A lot of people thought Stanford or Colorado would be the worst in the Pac-12. Am I going out on a limb, or is that accurate, gentlemen?
That's pretty accurate, although ASU looks worse now.
Okay, no, but I'm saying going into the season before any games were played. Yeah, So, and we saw Hawaii travel 10 hours to go to Vanderbilt, and they lost by a touchdown. Stanford flies 5 hours over to Hawaii and beats them by 21 points. And Colorado goes down into Fort Worth to TCU's home stadium and beats them by 3 points. And this was a team that was number 17 that played in the national championship game last year. So that is a big statement. Stanford looks solid. They're better than a Vanderbilt. I know that you can't compare, what I'm doing, but I'm just saying it goes to show that Stanford is even a last place team, or Colorado being a last place team, they're showing out, right? And we all know that the top 6 teams, including UCLA, is like that wild card team. The top 5 teams plus UCLA, I put them against any 6 teams against any conference, even the SEC. We saw what Florida did. Florida's an abysmal team. This is Billy Napier. He's an offensive-minded coach. They had the number 15 recruiting class last year. They're sitting at number 3 right now. And let me tell you, the Buzzards, the Ravens, they are circling Gainesville. They're looking to drop on down, swoop down, and start picking apart that recruiting class, because the Gators will be lucky to win 5 games this year.
Well,
am I wrong?
I think you're right. And can I tell you something amazing?
What's that?
Something that you never thought you'd hear. Oh, by the way, quick. Megan from Australia is in the chat.
Oh, Megan, love
Megan,
you.
fight on.
Good day, Megan. Good day.
She says it's the same score as the game she flew in for Rice. Oh wait, guys, we've got Megan. We've got Megan live from Australia. Megan, welcome to the show.
Hi. I just realized something. I've been half asleep, but this time last year I was at the Coliseum for the Rice game with exactly the same score as we got today. I just realized that. But Caleb Williams, my boy. I didn't actually get to see it because I was dealing with my other religion in a building called church. But yeah, what a game. What a game. My question, can we continue this? Can we make a championship game? Do we make the championship game? I guess is the question, but can we?
If we can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
If they can clean up, these explosive plays, Megan, where they're giving up these breakaway runs late in games, they're not containing the quarterback, because we're going to see. The thing is, the quarterbacks we've played are probably the two worst quarterbacks. Well, that's not true. Cordero's pretty darn good, but Cordero's good, but he's still probably going to be one of the weaker quarterbacks we face this whole year.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious. Since we've had two soft games, for want of a better phrase, and that's why I'm asking: can we continue these blowouts?
I think if we continue to improve, right? So we need a steady improvement. I guess we were talking. Everyone was saying, that the Pac-12 stuck it to the Trojans by giving them the front end of the schedule that was so weak, and then it gets difficult towards the end, right? I'm thinking the fact that with that situation, it might just be the blessing in disguise. Meaning, if we had come out of the gate and we're playing, let's say, for instance, next year we play LSU to start the season. This team is not ready for that. But it's got all the talent, and it's showing it's able to get off the field. One of the issues last year was literally just could not get off the field on third down. They're doing it. The most impressive thing for me again is the defensive line. They are absolutely causing havoc. They're in the backfield. They're crashing down. This week, they were all over it. Their protection. It was breaking down the defense. Now again, here's another thing you got to remember. This is probably going to be the worst offensive line that we face all year as well. So you got to take this with a grain of salt. I know that USC is a work in progress, but they're improved. This defense is much better, and if this defense is even just marginally better, right? USC was in a lot of games. They lost 2 games. The end, I think the offense is better this year. Okay, and this defense has improved. The problem is that this year we're playing Oregon and Washington and Notre Dame instead of getting Oregon State and Washington State.
That's what worries me.
So it's going to see how much they can improve between now and Notre Dame is going to tell us, what we need to know.
All right. I'm going to pop off because I'm.
Rick, what do you think of the defensive line? Well, looks like we continue to have the problems on everybody's internet and computers. So I was just going to briefly come in, and I don't know what you discussed, Will. I'm just coming in late to the show. I'm really excited about the overall numbers. Caleb Williams threw again, just an amazing game. 3 quarters, 18 for 24, 319 yards, 5 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. That's back-to-back weeks playing 3 quarters and putting up gaudy numbers for a 4-quarter game. Miller Moss again came in, showed that he can be a backup quarterback at a very high level, and he's continuing to just come in and throw the ball. 7 of 10 today, marches right down the field for another touchdown. So I'm not sure exactly what this team is going to do about the explosives. I'd also one other thing, they were still rotating the offensive player, the offensive line, but not much. A big hit was to the offensive line tonight. They're losing Gino Quinones. He's been really pushing for that left guard position, but it just means that Pregnon's got to step up. He definitely has the ability, and I'm hoping that that, and then probably move Mason Murphy, shuffle him around a little bit. But that's where we got into trouble last year. We started shuffling people around. Rick, what did you think about the defensive line?
Oh, I thought we looked great from the beginning till the end. I mean, you had Elijah Hughes towards the end of the game. Tim that was hustling. I think he had a sack. I just like the effort that was on the defensive line tonight. I mean, that shows you what can happen. But again, you got to consider the opponent. But they'll keep on getting better. And I thought the linebacker play stepped up because we knew Gentry wasn't going to play. He was hurt. We heard Mason Cobb wasn't playing. So it was Tackett Curtis. You know, he went out early in the game. And then we had Shane Lee come on in. So that shows you the depth, and Rajon Davis. So it shows you the depth at linebacker. Had that happened last year, we would have been in trouble. But
yeah,
that shows if, you know, for the naysayers out there, we didn't have that depth last year at linebacker. We didn't have that depth on the defensive line in the secondary. So when those unexpected incidents happen, like we had heard that Gentry and Cobb were dinged up, and then you lose Tackett Curtis. If that were to happen last year, we'd have been in a lot of trouble because we didn't have bodies.
Yeah, we just went 5 deep at middle at inside linebacker, and there didn't appear to be that much of a drop off. Again, probably the worst quarterback we're going to see all year, and most definitely the worst offensive line. But it's still, it's still a team. It's still a college football team, and they really did shut him out under 50 yards rushing, which was nice to see after giving up, in air quotes, I'm going to say it, that there was 200 yards, when in reality, about a good 90 of those yards were just on 2 big, long plays at the very end of the game. But they were still giving up. By the way, on those long runs, yes, we didn't have our stars in, but there were a number of stars that were still on the field. So it's not like it was against the third string guys. There were still guys out there that shouldn't be happening.
The one thing I like too, Tim, was that in this game, you're seeing a lot of guys get reps that can help out at the end of the year should there be injuries. I like seeing Elijah Page out there, Alani Noah on the offensive line, all the wide receivers getting rips. You look at Quentin Joyner today. We saw his speed, Tim, at the spring game, didn't we? And look what happened today. I don't know what the actual yardage was on that run, but I'm guessing it was 30 to 40 yards on that TD run.
All right, he was gone. Yeah, as soon as he got through there, you knew it. I knew it. As soon as he got through that hole, he was gone. Yeah, and he's gonna get those touch, Rick. Like you said, this guy is just too damn good, too fast. That's the one thing he has. I mean, all the other backs bring a lot to the table, but the one thing that he's going to bring is he's bringing that breakaway speed. I believe he has the best speed on the team. And going back running backs, Marshawn Lloyd. I don't remember what game on what quarter it was, but he just wouldn't go down. This guy, Todd Gwynn from the national channel, he's a Gamecock, and he said, "You guys watch this guy. You cannot tackle him. He just can't be tackled." And I'm like, yeah, okay, we all, everyone says that. But no, he's like, remember when we were little kids, probably the younger people won't know. Remember those weeble wobble things, right? Where they just kind of get knocked up aside, but they'd come back up again. That's like this dude is like a weeble wobble, dude. He goes like 3/4 way down, then all of a sudden he defies he defies physics, and whoop, he pops back up again, and he keeps running, and he spins, and then he keeps running. It's really been a long time, Rick, since I've seen backs move like that, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and Megan, we talked about this. Tim and I talked about this. Is the running game this year? What it lacked last year is big chunk yardage gains and possibly touchdown. So getting a 30+ yard gain, we didn't have that in the arsenal last year. So now you see that with Marshawn Lloyd. You see that with Quentin Joyner, explosive plays in the running game, and then to complement what Caleb can do at any time with his feet or his arm, and then all the receivers that he has to throw to. It's pretty scary.
And some of the jokes have always been about how to beat Lincoln Riley is they're saying, oh, just drop 8, right? The thing is, if you come with a weak box against the way, look at the size of the linemen we have now. You come with a weak box, they're going to run right through you, especially with guys like we talked about, Weeble Wobble and all those guys. Austin Jones had an amazing run. I mean, all the backs showed out today. So we'll look out. We're coming for the Irish.
Oh, please, can we just put some points on the Irish? I do not even care if we win. I have a Notre Dame fan in my town who is giving me crap already. So can we just get some point? I don't care. 1 point will do me. As long as we score against them in some fashion, I'm good. But I am going to duck out, fellas. Fight on. I've got some overdue nephew time. I will catch the game on replay and talk to you soon. Fight on.
All right, Megan. Thanks,
Megan. Fight on.
Love you, Megan.
Fight on, Megan. We love you.
Fight on.
Yeah, here, I got a question also. So Portland, I kept hearing. So Portland State laid 80 on. The Ducks laid 80 on Portland State FCS, right? So
Yeah.
So you know what? I think if you're gonna have billboards and stuff, you shouldn't. Your stats against FCS. I'm sorry, your FCS stats should not count. That just should go right out the window. You want to pad your stats against FCS and run the score up on FCS schools? What way to go, Oregon? You really knocked the crap out of those guys. And then you gotta sit back and talk about how you have Bo Nix and Bo this, but I really hope that whoever the hype, but they won't. When it comes to the voting, they'll talk about his gaudy numbers. Never forget about the fact that he lit it up against Portland State. So
Jim, how dare you say that? Didn't Ole Miss light up Mercer? Come on now.
Yeah, well, Rick, the SEC. Well, hey, listen, the Ducks said they want to be like the SEC. There you go.
The SEC West.
There you go.
The SEC team. That's why I'm saying, how dare you? Come on. They want to be the SEC West, and they acted like it today.
Well, if they really want to play like the SEC, they need to find like an orphanage or convent they can play in Week 11.
They will.
Yeah, that's how you get to be like the SEC. Too funny.
I mean, we only played Sam Hartman for a half, so I mean, we show mercy. We put in Steve Angeli.
Is that who came in after him?
Yeah, and then Kenny Minchie came in at the end, our big freshman recruit.
So they had to keep Bo Nix longer because Ty Thompson only throws interceptions. So I know that he didn't come in. He didn't come in anytime soon. So it clearly had to be Bo Nix in there throwing that ball if they scored that many points. Ducks fans, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that one.
Tim, that's the best line of the night. Oh, that is too funny.
Well, listen, you guys, as much as they want to say, sure, they have Marcus Mariota. They can point back to that. That is where you go. If you're a quarterback, you go to Eugene if you want. That's the school that quarterbacks go to die. It truly is. They had Marcus Mariota. He kicked ass, but
Herbert was good. I'll give him Herbert.
No, but that's what I was going to say to you. He's good now. He's with the Chargers. He's getting real coaching. They made Herbert. He looked meh when he was at Oregon. He didn't do anything special in Oregon. He is special now, but they made him look like, how do you make Justin Herbert look like average? And they did.
They definitely did.
So I have no idea what you guys covered earlier in the show, Tony. Where are we at?
So we were getting ready to wrap up. I've had all sorts of issues, so I don't even know what you guys were talking about for a while I had to try to get back online. So it's kind of an adventure. Tim, what else did you want to go over? Because we've hit most of our chat. Our chat is robust, but our crowd's a little quiet tonight.
Yeah. Not much. There's some guys that flashed also. We got to see, we've seen spots of it. I'm saying, you guys, maybe not this year, but keep an eye out for Lemon. He and Nelson have a rapport about going back to Los Alamitos. I watched him my dad and I were talking about the game. We watched him get double teamed, on pretty good St. John Bosco defense. And just those two were just lighting it up in the playoffs. He got a couple looks today. He tried to bounce one outside on a kick return, but there's been talk. I've heard some quotes from some of the players talk about his speed and how fast he is. And we saw a little bit of that today. He was a nice flash. And then again, just watching the defensive line, and not just the guys we knew that were going to be a big deal. Romello Height got in there a couple of times. It just seemed like this defense is so damn close. They're like right at that quarterback, and that's what I like to see. Yes, I know this is that offensive line, but we're starting to see some of these guys. Oh, Solomon Byrd. Did I bring up Solomon Byrd yet? Solomon Byrd, I did. He's someone that everyone overlooked, but he was just right there the entire game. He's in there. He's playing great. I just want to make sure that this isn't some kind of mirage, right? If this defensive line can be like they're playing, let me reverse it. If we had this defensive line last year, there was no doubt in my mind we go undefeated and we're in the playoffs. And there's no doubt about it. The question is going to be, can we go on the road to South Bend? Can we go up to Autzen? Because I think this defense, we looked at Utah. Man, did Utah's defense look great last week or the other day. And They are going to be a test to our offense. But hey, look, we have the best offense in the country. Sorry, Will, we do. I swear we do. And so
we gotta keep our offense on the field. That's the way the Irish are gonna win. Keep that offense off the field.
Yeah, you know what's weird though? I was thinking there would be a lot less plays and stuff because of the clock. But man, it seemed like a hell of a lot of plays in college football. Oh, and I think Tony's talking about Travis Hunter when we go up there. Remember, Travis Hunter is going to be playing up at altitude. Do you think he can? Do you think he has 130 plays in him up at altitude?
That's a fair question, Tim.
You know, 130 playing 130 plays at sea level, that's one thing, but getting 130 plays at altitude, that might be a different thing. I was messing with some guy in the live chat in Mark's live stream. Travis Hunter's a stud, but he was trying to tell me that Travis Hunter is the best corner and the best wide receiver, both in college football. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, McKinstry, Kool-Aid, right? I think he's probably the best corner.
Ben Morrison.
But who's he got from Penn State?
Caden Clark. Caden something.
Yeah. So he's good. He's young. He has more years ahead of him, but he's gonna be great. And we haven't seen someone like that playing both sides of the ball. He did a phenomenal job. I was messing. But can he play that many reps on both sides of the ball when he's at altitude in Colorado? That'll be interesting to see.
I was saying the same thing when I was watching the game at halftime, and they were interviewing Dion, and I think it was Jenny Taft said, you know, that he played 60 total snaps. I was thinking, how are you going to do that at altitude against a good team like USC when you are playing at a higher level? You're covering better wide receivers. You're going to have to run better routes. You're going to cramp up. You're not going to be able to play a full game. I'm sorry, you're not.
No one can.
No.
He was gassed. He was gassed in the game.
Yeah, you're going to make mistakes, and the ball's going to hit you in the hands, and it's going to tip off. There's going to be potential for interceptions. You're not. So yeah. But you know what? Credit to that guy because he is a great player, and he's going to put it out there because you know what? This is the ultimate showcase game for him. If he can pull that off, and he'll go for it, then you know what? He does some spectacular things in that game against USC, and God forbid that, you know, they knock off USC, then he's the instant Heisman frontrunner. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to credit my friend Jamie Davenport because we were talking, and he said, Rick, that game against Colorado, I don't care what you say, it's going to be closer than you think. And he was right. You take a look at this game, and I thought, nah, you're crazy. I know it'll be close for the first half, but no. Now, you know, USC better not overlook Colorado because that is their national championship game. That's the biggest stage. It's at home. It's going to rock. They've never beat USC, and this might be the last time they play them for a long time. And so USC better be ready because if they knock off USC,
and really quick, before we get to LV, that's a really good point. They're going to be juiced up, Rick.
Yeah, they do have to play the Ducks first, so that'll be interesting.
Well, but they're going to be juiced up for SC because they've never beaten SC. But the thing also is, I'm really amazed. There's two things. One, all those reps, we know what happens when you get tired in football. That's when injuries happen. So I mean, I hope this kid stays healthy the whole time because he's gas moving both ways. I watched him. It was almost like I wouldn't say he's taking plays off, but you can't go 100 the whole time. So it seemed like he was on defense. He was taking some. And when you're playing corner, you're taking little breathers when the ball's on their side. There was a play, it was a drag route, and he just let the guy go almost. LV, sorry, we keep talking. How you doing? How you doing tonight?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Fight on from New York.
Hey, LV.
Calling in.
Listen, great show, man. Fabulous. Before I get to USC, I wanted to chime in. You guys are making great points about Colorado. Great win today. But law of attrition, man, is huge. I don't think they have that many good backups. Remember, that was what hurt USC last year. Same thing.
Exactly.
When Eric Gentry went down, that really, really hurt us big time. And we could not get back after that. Like when he went down, that changed everything for us defensively, right? It truly did. So I just don't know if he can play that way for all these weeks against this top-tier competition, week in, week out. And kind of similar to what the guy up there said, Wind, I believe that's his name. They got to play the Ducks the week before us. They got to go up to Eugene.
Oh, that's right.
Place to play. They're not playing in Colorado. They're going up to Eugene. And we see what the Ducks did today. Of course, it was against not that great of competition, but it's still Oregon, it's still in Eugene. And I think that's going to be a really tough test. It's a big difference from TCU. I mean, TCU got smoked last year, 65-7. Let's not forget that. The majority of those guys are gone. So that's the team they played today. So this was a perfect setup for Prime and those guys to go down there and do what they did. And believe it or not, they should have lost that game because TCU left 17 points up there by those 2 picks in the red zone and the field goal. So great win, but I just think we need to pump our brakes with Colorado just a bit. You know what I mean? Like, I think they did well today against a team that just lost a lot of guys from that team last year, right? So, I think they good, just like most teams do, but we got to see what they're going to look like later on in the year. When guys start getting hurt, right? When guys start, because that's what makes Georgia and Alabama so great. Those 2 and 3 deep guys, right? That's when you really see pretty much the championship level teams, because the third string, second string guys are just as good as the first string. So now that's leading into my point. I think, guys, these last 2 weeks, that's what Lincoln Riley is trying to build, right? How are we going to get the second string guys to be just as good as the first string guys? Now, they're going to take their lumps. But to me, seeing kind of like the rotation, getting a guy like Rajon Davis in, guys, 5-star, I forget, from modern day, look at how he looks today, running around, getting blitzes, playing the whole game. Imagine Rajon Davis now in Notre Dame, has those game reps, playing confident. It's a different type of player, guys. A different type of player. And those are the guys you're going to need to give us that push towards the end, because you see what our schedule was like towards the end of the season. And guys like Rajon Davis is what's going to save us. You know what I mean? So I think that's, to me, key. What I feel like these last 2 weeks has been like basically preseason. Like, this is my opinion. I just feel like that's.
No, it is. It's a scrimmage. It's been a scrimmage. Yeah. And going back to your point about you're spot on about the fact that, I mean, it's one of the biggest things. I think people on this show and other shows I'm on get tired of me saying it, but it is. Football's a very violent sport. And even if it's not violent, there's non-contact fouls. And the thing you're talking about is how deep they're going to be. It's not just their depth. It's what we're talking about now, what SC is doing as well. How do you prevent those injuries from guys getting tired, from guys getting those extra reps, getting the wear and tear when you get in October, November? It's by rotating, protecting them, so they're not getting, 100 and whatever Travis had, 130 reps, wherever he had. And on defense, if you're rotating your linebackers, you don't want to get in the habit of it. But if you have quality guys behind there, you get out to a nice lead, you can pull them and know that you have guys come in. And if they do get injured, they can come in and support. So yeah, I mean, all spot on, great points.
I mean, totally. I mean, I just think so. For me, that's why I think what I saw these last couple of weeks. Now, of course, people are going to jump out the window because of what they saw last week against San Jose. But to me, that's got to happen. That's got to happen. You got to let stuff like that happen so the coaches can see the film and say, "Listen, man, okay, he's not playing. Okay, we love this guy, but we got to get some reps back from him. Let's put in this guy. Let's do this. Now, if you notice today, we didn't see that many rotations. We pretty much had the same starting defense, and did we see rotations on the line? No, right? Only Canonis came in for
early on. No, early on. I think the second. Actually, I was watching on the second drive. They actually did swap some guys around. They did move some guys in and out because they started out with. Remember, we thought that the line coming in the very beginning was going to be made up of the 5 that they talked about with the depth. The guys coming in the transfers, and then we noticed in game 1 they didn't start. And then they started rotating, right? But you did see the guys that we expected to be on the line actually playing. Like you saw Jarrett Kingston, by the way. He was playing right guard to come in and start the game. And for the very first drive, he came in. Pregnon was playing left guard right off the bat. And I think it was Mason Murphy at right tackle, I think, to start the game. No, Tarquin. Tarquin was at right tackle. So it was
Tarquin, so Kingston, Dedich, who's 70? I keep Pregnon.
And then Monheim, right?
And Jonah Monheim. That was the 5 that I saw pretty much consistent. I only saw Pregnon kind of switch in with Quinones a couple of times, but outside of that, they stuck with the Kingston, Tarquin, and Dedich, and Monheim. That's what I saw majority of the game.
Right, the majority, but on the second drive, right away, I saw it. I went, "Oh shoot, here we go again!" Right, but no, you're right. They kind of pulled it back to it, and then obviously when you had Quinones go down, then they had almost they just kind of started going, "Okay, here we go," and then they started keeping that line together. But towards the end, they got the young guys in and Page in.
Did you guys notice like is Austin Jones okay? Because he stopped getting touches. I was like, okay, what's going on here? Like I just seen like he made that one play where he flipped over and kind of landed, got his helmet knocked off.
Yeah.
After that, I didn't see him. Like, right.
Yeah, I don't know, Rick. Did you see that? I mean, it looked like they were going with the hot hand or whatever. I mean, all of them had great runs. Tonight was a night where just guys were showing out. I just think Rick and I were talking about in the last show we did that he's the kind of guy when you get the running backs going like Marshawn Lloyd. He just seems like that kind of guy. He's a bang, bang, bang around a little bit, and then he gets in his groove, and he sure as hell did. I think maybe they're pulling away from him. Austin Jones might be the odd man out. I don't know why. I mean, he's a great back. He had great runs. He had all of his runs were great. It's just you're going to have three great backs, all fighting for. Well, even in the game, they even brought in Darwin Barlow towards the end there, and that run off the right side. Oh my God, he just. I'm tempering it. It was Nevada, but he was just running right through dudes, and we know that's the kind of guy he is.
When we saw Barlow do that last year, I have no idea why Barlow's not getting more touches. Every time I see him run, he's running violent, he's running explosive, and if you just give him a set of runs, a stretch play, or a couple of dives or a counter play, like I mean, I haven't seen any play for the last 2 years of Barlow like losing yards, like, and it's not. What game was it last year where he made those two big ones? Was it UCLA?
The UCLA one, the goal line is the biggest one I can think of. And then, but John Jackson said it. Here's the thing, though. LV, here's the thing. It's going to be interesting to see. There's already stuff kind of popping around and Twitter and online. It's going to be interesting to see if how Lincoln Riley is going to get these guys touches because John Jackson today on the radio point blank said there's only one football on the field. It'd be great if you could roll out about 6 balls out there because you got a lot of playmakers, but there's only one ball on the field and touches are going to be at a premium. How are you to keep all these dudes happy? Because I am shocked. I'm glad and grateful that Barlow stayed, but this guy could have gone anywhere and been a starter almost anywhere in the country, and he stayed. And it's gonna be interesting to see how he keeps how the staff keeps these guys together, focused, and playing with a morale that they're gonna need in order to play championship football. So I'll tell you this: I don't think that they all stay. We're gonna be losing. There's gonna be a lot of people, just like this year. We lost a lot of receivers this year. All those dudes are probably either fighting for or starting at the schools they went to. They're all high quality receivers. So yeah, interesting.
Well, one also thing too, I think, because I love the offense. I love how we're looking. I just wish, right, that Caleb would just check it down sometimes. Like, we don't need the explosive plays. Like, I notice he just holds on to the ball just a tad bit. Those slants in the middle are wide. That's 24/7. There's no one that can for Branch and Mario Williams, anybody right there playing that slot. No one can cover those guys right there. That should always be his check down. But yet he's looking for the deep throws. If he just focuses on that, just imagine how even more explosive we can be. Because sometimes he does hold on to it a bit. That's the only thing I have from him. And if you guys follow pro football, because I'm a big Giants fan on the East Coast, so I gotta be honest with you. But if you notice, they said that was Mahomes' issue also. But once he started checking it down last year with the Chiefs, that's what changed his game. And it feels like, to me, that's what Caleb has to start doing. What say you guys?
What do you think, Rick, with the checkdowns?
Yeah, no, I can see what you're saying, LV. I totally understand where you're at. I think he does need to check down. He needs to get rid of it. I'd rather him do that than to run right now. He doesn't need to run. We don't need to pick up those yardage because the worst thing that can happen is he gets hurt, and that's it. You increase the probability of somebody taking a shot at you or a late hit. You don't need to scramble like that. But, hey, he has that flow. He has that ability. He has that belief. So he's going to do what he's going to do because that's his game. But I understand what you're saying. So for all Caleb does, well, we could be critical. but that's his game, and kind of getting back to the questions earlier about, wow, what happened to Austin Jones and, the carries. Hey, they had 35 pass plays, 34 running plays, total balance. You had Austin Jones with 6 carries. Marshawn Lloyd had 9 carries. Quentin Joyner got 5. They fed Quentin Joyner a little bit because of, you give him some carries, like 1 out of every 5 times, that guy's going to bust a chunk yardage play. It shows that Quentin Joyner's longest run was 13 yards. I thought it was a little bit longer for the TD, but I could be wrong. But
yeah, his long was 47 for the TD.
Okay, it's showing that his rushing for.
Are you looking at ESPN?
Oh no, here we go. Yeah, you're right. Long 47. Okay, I was looking at the something else. There we go. Yeah. So that guy's phenomenal. I mean, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 receivers, 14 players, let's say, received caught a pass. That is crazy, right? But that just goes to show you they are seeing, like you said, LV, they're seeing who they can trust, who's going to be able to step up and make big plays. And guess what? There's so many guys at wide receiver that can do that. And they're not like, Travis Hunter, who are you going to cover? We're going to wear you out. They're going to target Travis Hunter because you can't cover everybody, and Deuce Robinson, Jacoby Lane are going to be problems. So it's going to be exciting. It's an amazing team. And you're not, and I said it earlier, you're seeing Caleb Williams operating at 6 or 7 right now. I mean, he's just in preseason mode.
Yeah, he's cruising. Like I said, I talked about the check downs. That's a small that check down stuff. That's a small thing. I'm just mentioning it, but he's cruising. He's in cruise control. I really am happy that we are getting Miller time, right? I mean, Miller off. He's looking sharp out there.
Yeah. And here's something that teams have to deal with. You talk about USC's defense. When it comes time and they are in a competitive game, teams are going to have to deal with USC's relentless pressure from a run game and a pass game, and Caleb Williams orchestrating that. Try dealing with that for 4 quarters. That is going to put so much pressure on your defense that you're going to burst and you're going to allow big plays when you're not used to it. You're going to be rotating a lot of receivers in, a lot of running backs, and offensive line. It's going to be set. You're going to be rotating guys. They are going to be fresh, and you're going to have to defend for 60 minutes. Don't see it happening. I don't.
Yeah, no one's seen 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Also, nobody's seen 4 quarters of Caleb yet. No. And what he's doing is in 3 quarters. And yes, lesser competition. But so to follow up on both of you guys said about the checkdowns, it's like this stallion. You don't want to rein back on a horse that just has, that's what it is. You know what I mean? Caleb, that's who Caleb is. But I am worried. Like Rick was talking about the running, but also you can get hurt sitting in the pocket too long, getting blindsided. And sitting back there and waiting for it to develop. And there was a play. I'm forgetting now. Was it Michael Jack? I don't know. I can't remember. Someone came a little drag route across. It was 3rd down. A drag route came. He looked, and then he ended up not having. I think we convert, but he easily could have dumped it off.
I think you're talking about the Taj Washington.
Was it Taj Washington? Yeah, he came right across from right to left, right in front of him, and he was looking downfield, and instead of just checking down to him about 7 yards down, we know Taj is to get those 3 or 4 extra yards. He could throw before the 6 for Taj, and he would have got that first down. Yeah, those kind of decisions. Later, we're playing up in Austin. We're playing in South Bend. Those 3rd downs might actually hurt us. But again, though, LV, I think also Caleb knows the game. He also knows the score. He's also looking for bigger numbers, whatever it was. I do believe that in a bigger game where he knows the situation, and they're going to be in his ear about that stuff in a close game. I'm hoping he does that check down, but I agree. He does hang on. My biggest worry on that is that he's going to get hurt sitting in the pocket, because that's when quarterbacks do get hurt.
No, that's a valid point. But I also think that Caleb is cruising, man. He's in cruise control. I mean, he's not really, when he really starts picking it up, I think that's when you're really going to see him when the magic happens, right, with him. I think like he knows this is just, we're playing against like regular guys. So I think he's trying out some new things. Also, that's just my opinion with him. But when it's time to step up against higher competition, you're going to really see the magic come out. You're going to really see who, what we know him to be, the best player in the nation. So, but Another thing I want to throw out too. Hey man, Bear Alexander, he's a monster, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a beast in that interior. I haven't seen a guy like that since Cedric Ellis. I'm being totally honest. Him coming up in the middle like that. Of course, Big Cat Leonard Williams. But
you remember Stevie T? He kind of reminds me of Stevie T, the way he just collapses pockets. You don't have to get there, but if he is just collapsing pockets and letting everyone else eat. And that's what I was talking about earlier. A lot of these guys like Solomon Byrd, he didn't get a big number of sacks, but he was flushing him from the side, flushing him out, right? And guys like Keon Bars and Bear, they were absolutely collapsing that pocket, not allowing the quarterbacks to get comfortable in that pocket is 90% of the battle. Then you're not leaving your corners out on an island, you know? Yeah, I'm Bear Alexander is absolutely living up to everything that we were told he would be. He's not getting the huge numbers, but he's doing all the things that guy that knows position need to do for you, right? I agree. He's on it.
Ooh.
What are you watching, Will? Oh. Yeah, man. So LV, that's awesome. Totally appreciate your thoughts on the game. I hope you call back in next week as well. You have anything else for us?
Absolutely. Fight on for you guys, man. Let's bring it in.
Yeah, great call. Call back. Great call, buddy. Fight on.
Where were you earlier when we were all messing up? You could help Tony out.
I know. I could have used it. I could have just turned it over to you.
We got to bring LV on for the. You can be a new member for the morning before we get in. Here, you call in.
Absolutely, you guys take care,
man. I'm moment to moment here until I can get Comcast out here to figure out what's going on.
Hey, gentlemen, there is a game that I don't think anybody expected. Wyoming and Texas Tech up in Laramie going overtime.
Oh wow! Really?
What?
Wait! I thought that Texas Tech was taking the Big 12 by storm this year.
Well, that's what Brett McMurphy would tell you. He had Texas Tech number 13 and USC number 14 in his preseason top 25.
Yeah, this has not been a good day for the mid-12.
Yeah, Texas State took Baylor to the woodshed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
the first Texas State win ever over a power conference team. They whipped Baylor in Waco.
And it was a Big 12 team?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Baylor's been sliding for a while, but I thought, because Joey McGuire came on the scene, had that magical season last year and overshadowed by TCU, but if they're in a dogfight with Wyoming, that's not good.
You know it's bad when the Big 12 fans are trying to claim Arizona State's like dust storm sneak past of Southern Utah as a Big 12 win. That's when you know your conference is in trouble.
Texas Tech needed a field goal in the last minute to tie it up. So,
oh my gosh,
now it's OT. Yeah. Well, hey, great show, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and log off. Will, congratulations to your Domers. I love it. Tim, hey man, good to see you. We got another victory. I think you did have 66-10 or something thereabouts. So a good call on your prediction. And Tony, thank you for holding down the fort. I know it was a crazy night, and I appreciate all the viewers out there in the chat. Thank you for tuning in and being patient with us tonight. Love having you here. And USC is 2-0, and we move on to Stanford next Saturday night at the Coliseum, 7:30, Fox TV. It's going to rock the Collie. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we're going to learn a lot next week. I do think there's going to be bigger players, faster guys, and it's going to be a test.
Yeah, I'll be for sure paying attention to that one.
All right. Have a great night, Rick. Will, Tim, any final thoughts?
Well, we're getting into the real test now for both of our teams, so it'll be interesting to see how both teams play against stiffer competition.
Do you have Ohio State next week?
NC State.
Yeah,
it's 2 weeks.
Ohio State is in is in 3 weeks. Yeah,
3 weeks. Okay.
We have 2 more games.
Sorry,
I'm just gonna go back on. I'm happy with the line play on both sides. I think that the offensive line and the defensive line played great. We saw some procedure issues, flags, but those were on like true freshmen, so I can look past those. We had one call against Dietich, but that's one call. That's one thing's been really nice this year, Tony, is that we're not having a bunch of stupid penalties. So we're seeing effort penalties. We're not seeing just bonehead penalties. So
I was thinking the same thing, actually, Tim.
Yeah.
That's great. It's true.
it's very refreshing. And I think the defense is coming along. I'm thinking now that no Trojans. Yes, this could be a gauntlet, but I think this is exactly what we wanted. And I think it's what the staff wanted as far as building this team together. The first half of the season, gelling that offensive line, keeping people, getting people out, and keeping people healthy. And it's going to get tougher every game. And what I saw was great on defense. Can they stop these explosives? Because if they keep it, it was a problem last year. It was a problem that led to that horrible ending in the at the end of the game against Tulane, the Cotton Bowl. That they've got to stop giving up these huge explosives. And Grinch has got to figure that out, because at some point it's got to be where you got to dial up something to where these kids can actually execute and stop giving up 70-yard plays.
Touchdown Coastal Carolina.
No.
All right.
Hey, Will, I smell a watch party.
Yeah.
All right, let's do that, guys. All right, hey, everybody in the chat and everybody watching, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your patience while we sorted out the four-way nightmare of technical debacles. Thank you for calling in. Thanks for engaging. We would love to see you guys on Wednesday night for our Pac-12 chat show live. On Monday night with Matt Zemek, Mark hosts a special USC Trojans show. We've got our Trojan Conquest show, and we'll be right here live after the Stanford game next week. Everybody, thanks and fight on.